Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Marathon podcast. I have a super special guest with me today, and I'm very excited to have this conversation. So, I have with me Dr. Sonal Kamalia, who is a hospitalist turned artist and an Akashic record practitioner. And she's an intuitive mind body energy guide who enjoys working toward supporting people back toward their creative home. So, Dr. Sonal, welcome to the show. We have been trying to do this collaboration for a long time.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me, and thank you for all the work you do.
Well, the feeling is mutual. Thank you for all you do. And so you guys may be wondering what are we going to talk about in the realm of running? So many of my listeners and I, right, we are runners who are navigating a lot of pressure. And we are often recovering overachievers or still overachievers, and maybe dealing with burnout. And so that can be both, in our sport or also in our professional lives. And so I invited Dr. Sonal on here because I would love to pick her brain on this. So, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Tell us about your relationship with running, and then we'll go from there.
Got it. So I got into running about 12 to 13 years ago. And what exactly happened was my sisters were running marathons. And I was like, I should do it too. But at that time, I did not realize it, but I think the intention with which I wanted to do it was wrong. So I did run a couple of halves, and I was proud of myself that I did, but it was more about wanting to prove myself that I could do it. But like after a few, I realized that I really wasn't even enjoying the process of it. So why the hell am I doing this? And of course, I was happy that I achieved the result,
Yeah.
but the whole process was really gruesome. And I would think to myself, I could rather be swimming or going for a walk, you
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into it. And
Can you,
so
you know,
go ahead.
well, I'm just thinking about this because this was one of my questions that I wrote down, but like, what did proving yourself, like, what did that look like for you in the moment?
Oh, it was hard, to be honest. I going to even a practice run used to take a lot of effort.
Uh-huh.
I really wasn't even like there was no excitement about it. Yes, after every practice run, I was like, oh my God, I did 6 miles today. I did 7 miles. But it was about the achievement of having done that. Of course, when you're not totally into it, you don't do it. One, you don't do it with heart, and you don't do it with having proper guidance. You just do it for the heck of doing it. And that's exactly what kind of happened to it. So I was pushing myself. I was
Hmm.
how exercise could bring your stress levels down. I
Yeah.
think I was very stressed out.
Wow. Yes. Okay. So it was having the opposite effect.
Yes, yes. And when I got into it, it was about like proving my worth and proving the fact that I could do it. But also there was a part of it that I wanted to do it with my sisters.
Yeah.
So that was the happy part of it. But I could have done something else with them.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did not
Yes.
have to like push myself. Everyone says that a half should be done within 3 hours. So that
Hmm.
was the other thing that was eating my head up. Like I should be
Yeah.
able to do it. And
The
I was
expectations.
never, yes, the expectation of doing it within a certain time, the expectation of, you know, doing it with everyone. So
Yeah. Yeah.
really like trying to overachieve more than what I had the capacity to at
Right.
that time.
Yeah, yeah. So it probably took all of the joy out of it.
Yes, yes. And in
Yeah.
my mind, I was like, maybe I should try it again because I can walk and I enjoy walking.
Yeah.
So if I had to try it again, like my intention would be different. It wouldn't be about proving myself, it would be about enjoying the walk. So I still haven't decided and actually I'm still debating about it, but the thought has crossed my mind. Like retrace my step back in my mind to think about why do I want to do it?
Yeah,
Even this
yeah.
time and that thought came into me.
No, exactly. I mean, I think this is similar. I know that you were not, you were not a track or a cross country runner when you were younger, but what you say parallels a lot of my athletes who were runners at a younger age and then some aspect of that kind of ruined it for them, whatever that was. If they had, sort of a bad experience or a coach who was very hard on them or just they've lost, their speed and they're comparing themselves to what they were then. But a lot of what you say about the expectations and kind of reframing like your why and why you're why you're doing it in the first place. There are lots of parallels there, even though I know that does not describe your story, but what you tell me is very similar to prior athletes actually, and having to really juggle like how it looks right now compared to how it was back then.
True, true. And I think, you always want to compare yourself to the past you or but I think you have to realize that we change as people, our intentions change as people, our physical ability changes as people, and also based on our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
There will be some days where we can actually do a good job, and some days we won't be able to do a good job, and that's okay. So as long as you feel like you do the best you can, I think it's okay. Like, so I enjoy swimming, and and I'm not a very fast swimmer. I I truly do it for the joy of it. But there are times when I see, especially a lot more older people who are like swimming much fast, and I'm like, I start comparing myself. Oh my God, I should be able to do like I should be a little bit more healthier, and I
Yes.
should be able to do a little bit more. But again, like having to step back and think that everyone is at a different pace of life. Everyone's ability is different, so you have to see what you can do and actually give yourself a pat on your back for whatever you are doing,
Yes.
because it's
Yes.
so easy for us to criticize ourselves
Oh yeah.
on what we're not able to, but be okay with and pat ourselves for what we are doing for ourselves
Yeah,
today.
and I think it's very common for athletes of all types. So for runners to be out there on the pavement and thinking that other runners are concerned with what you're doing and what pace you're going, but really they're just concerned about their own pace. And the same in the pool, like when I'm swimming next to people, we're all just worried about our own thing in our own lane, but our minds like to tell us like, oh, they're like staring at me in my slow pace and what I'm doing in my flippers.
Yes, yes. And it's not even about yes, and it's not even about what they are thinking, but it's about what you are thinking, right? You think the things that you think other people are thinking about you most
Yeah,
of the times.
and they're not.
No, and they're not. And it's basically you thinking about it,
Yes, it's
about
true.
yourself.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, because I think this is an important distinction. So you were able to step away from this thing that I would argue that you were invested in, like you wanted to do these half marathons with your sisters, and there can be like some fear about stepping away from that. How did you like work through that? And maybe a second question is, what helped you differentiate between like giving up versus choosing something that actually supported you that you enjoyed doing? That may be a hard question.
Actually, to be honest, I did not have fear about giving it up.
Okay, good.
Yes, I had no fear about giving it up, and I was ready to let it go. But realizing that I was not having fun with it, I was really struggling. And after understanding my why, actually, that helped me a lot.
Okay.
And like I also realized that the days that I was running, it was taking away from my swimming. And I used
Mhm.
to be very, very happy when I swam. So I think just coming back to what resonates with you, because we are all very different. different and what in what makes us happy, right? So
Yeah.
kind of choosing what makes you happy, choosing what you resonate with, choosing what gives you joy in life.
Yep. Yep. Nope. I love that. I love all of that. And I think, it's no surprise to me that you are very creative and artistic and that you were able to figure this out like pretty early on because some people I don't think are that intuitive and they go on for a long time being potentially like unhappy in a sport. It doesn't have to be running, but it can be another sport. And I'm wondering, like how can we as runners, this is like the creative piece. How can we invite creativity back into our sport, back into our training? How do you find creativity in your movement?
So I again, I think rhythm is most important, right? Rhythm and really feeling the rhythm of your movement as you're doing what you're doing. Feeling what you feel inside. Like when I go for, so biking is another thing that I really enjoy. When I go for biking, I literally feel like I feel free. There's
Mhm.
freedom. So I think really noticing, do you feel free versus do you feel stuck and constricted?
I mean, I love swimming. I think I have a relationship with swimming the way you do. And that was something that I found swimming like during a time of injury. Like I had sprained my ankle and I couldn't run for a while. So I ended up in the pool. But I felt a similar, I don't know, call it a flow state, call it whatever you want, but that calm and peace that I got while I was running on the trail, I also get that when I'm swimming.
Swimming is freedom to me. Swimming, biking, yes.
Yes. Now, one of the other things I wanted us to talk about, so I alluded to it a little at the beginning of the episode about burnout, because a lot of us are navigating burnout or have experienced burnout in our professional lives. And I feel like we have a certain personality type, and it's like very easy. It's very easy for me to picture myself getting burned out on running or to slip into overtraining and like too much of a good thing. And so I wonder if a runner is feeling burned out and isn't sure like what needs to change, where would you start? I mean, would you start by examining the why? I don't want to
I
answer that question, but
No, no, I think one is the why.
yeah.
And I think when burnout happens, it's not just related to one thing, right? I think there's lots of things going on in your life, which tie in together. Like it's never about just one thing. So one, examining your why. The other
Mhm.
two is really going on, understanding what else is going on, because sometimes you might have to step back from some things to be able to move forward. And I think the kind of people we are, like overachievers, we do not want to step back because we feel like we should be able to do it all. So even if you have to step back, in terms of not giving it as much time, not giving it, maybe not stressing over how much you do, or
Mhm.
or in the sense, take it easy a little bit. That's okay, which we don't want to do,
Yeah,
you know.
it's very
More
hard to do that.
Yes, yes. So like really understanding what is going on with everything in your life, understanding your why, because if your intention is not right, you are going to burn out.
Yes. One thing I
So I
have,
think really the intention is important.
yeah, agreed. One thing I have my runners do, I mean, we aren't just looking at the training, like zooming in on the training, but we look at the rest of what's going on in life and things that sound simple but are easy to go by the wayside, like sleep. And, what else is
Yes.
going on? Like if you have a big work project, or that you have, for my doctors out there, like that this particular week is a rough week of more shifts at the hospital, or like things like that. How can we work the training around that? So maybe we plan for a recovery week, a step down week, a rest week, and like that's one way. And another way is after big races or big, it doesn't have to be a race, but a big training load working towards something, like we plan the rest and the recovery in there because it's very easy to just keep on going and keep on climbing and, add on more goals and just pile on the goals and we just keep climbing the mountain, but eventually we're going to fall off the cliff.
Right.
And
True,
my
true, because it's not just, yes, it's work, it's family, it's,
Mhm.
for me taking care of parents and like everything else that we want to do. So having those times when we really also are not doing anything, which is
Yeah.
very difficult, like because that feels like pressure, not doing anything.
Yeah. Yes.
So
And I'm guilty of it too. Like I'm wearing my trusty Garmin watch and it loves to tell me like your training load this week wasn't so great. And like you've been resting a lot and it's the numbers are like in my face, when when I take a season of rest, I have to be very deliberate about it. Like, yes, that's the point, Mr. Garmin watch.
yes,
But it's hard. It's hard to do.
it's very hard to do because we feel like we should be doing something all the time, otherwise we're lazy. It's a very common misconception or like belief that most many of us have.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I
Well,
also think,
oh yes,
oh,
go ahead.
I also think like working with someone who can actually help you figure out what's going on might help because
Yeah.
the person might be looking at like will look at it from just observing, but when you're in your head and thinking about these things, you really are not observing, like you are just in your head.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yes.
This is like a plug for coaches of all types because, we've talked about it on the podcast before, but a coach can really help you identify your blind spots because when you're in it, you can't always see the other options. And I describe it like you're on the treadmill, just like staring straight ahead, going forward, and you can't see anything past that. So sometimes, you can offload that to someone else and they can look at everything. And, like again, I'm also very good at following a training plan, and most of my athletes are great at following a training plan, but it's all the other stuff. It's all the other stuff that we
Yes.
have to keep track of and keep a log of and just pay attention to so that we don't end up in a situation of overtraining, injury, getting burned out on the sport that you love, because that's really not the purpose.
Yeah, and then like, and you don't even start, like initially you don't even probably realize that you are getting burnt out until it becomes too
Yes,
heavy. And even though you want to do it, you know based on how you're built, you may not have the energy to do it, and then you beat yourself further, and it's like a vicious cycle.
exactly. Yes, like recognizing the signs when it's like very early, like, ooh, okay, I need to take a step back here before we end up at the top of the mountain on the cliff.
Right, right. So, like working with someone or even a community can help with that. So, like, even if you have like a running community that you can,
Yes.
that you're working with together, that helps.
Yes, yes, definitely. Well, I want to just shift a little bit more into like the artistic creative side here. Can you tell us like a couple of the things that you're working on? And also where are you located? I didn't mention that.
So, I'm in Colorado Springs. I've been here for a few years now. And so art has been my life. Like, let me, put
Yes.
it that way. Actually, even when I was in med school, I always wanted to go to art school at some point in my life.
Uh-huh.
And not be an artist from a professional side, but because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so I also really actually enjoy it when others work on their art, whatever it might be. Like it
Mhm.
helps my own art, but I also enjoy the joy that I can see
Yes.
in them when they're working on it. So it's something that I really like to do, actually. I really like to encourage people working on their art, whatever that might be.
Hmm.
And, like for me, art has two purposes. One is to just enjoy the process and like just do it like for playing, not with the
Hmm.
intention of like making a piece for the wall, but
Yes.
just for yourself. You're creating your life, which is art in itself. And also as a reflection of who you are, because when the way you approach life is how you approach art. Like if you fear putting yourself out there, you're also going to fear putting yourself out on your art
Pavement.
in a way. If
Uh-huh.
you generally procrastinate because it's if you're a perfectionist in life, you're also going to be the same things come out in art. You're going to want to do that. So also using art as a way of knowing yourself better and working, understanding your life from that aspect and working your way through that.
Yeah. Well, I remember the session that you held for us. We are part of a group called the Physician Coaching Alliance, and I've been to a couple of Dr. Sonal's workshops with art, and I would not really consider myself an artist in any way. I mean, I like to write, but not like draw or paint or anything. But it was very fun, and I was happy with the way what I don't remember exactly what we did, but I drew something, and I have never really drawn anything in my life. So that was great.
Thank you for that. We did the self-care cup, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yes. Yes,
yes,
it was
but
great.
everyone is an artist. You're creating your life every moment of your life,
That's right. That's right. I just
you
don't,
know.
yes, that is not like an outlet for me, but that doesn't mean it can't be.
No, and the thing is, in the podcast, right?
Mhm.
That is art.
Yeah.
We just land up considering art in the forms of traditional art.
Yes.
But even if you're singing for fun in a crackly voice, that is art.
Okay. I'm gonna remember that when I go see Bruce Springsteen
Oh,
concert.
yes.
Okay?
Please. Yes, sing your heart out.
I do. Well, before I let you go, tell us what you have upcoming as this podcast comes out, and if people are interested in, following you, where can they find you?
So they can find me on my website as such, and on Instagram, on Facebook, and so I have a few workshops, the art workshops that are going to be coming up in March and April. And then I also read, and I'm an Akashic Record practitioner. So have a group workshop coming out for that in May and offer one-on-one as and when someone wants a reading. But I'm guessing most would not know what an Akashic Record.
Yes, can you tell us what
Yes.
that is?
So yes, so in fact, it's something that I had never heard of until I came across it. And so since the time our soul separated itself from source,
Mhm.
every moment of our life, like every moment of every every life that we've lived our and in between lifetimes, all that energy is actually all that information, all that energy is stored in the one consciousness. And you can actually access that one consciousness to help guide you and for healings from your soul aspect. So you'll
Mhm.
get to know yourself from your soul aspect because in a way, once we take birth, once after the first initial few years, our soul, we forget who we are as a soul,
Mhm.
with all the social conditioning and also with how we grew up and everything. And like a lot of things that could be happening to like, experiences that we go through and repeated experiences could be
Mhm.
because our soul is actually here to learn something. So our soul, when we come to Earth as life form, our soul has kind of decided what it wants to learn in this lifetime.
Okay.
So we could actually get guidance from the one consciousness
What that is.
how, as to not just about us, like why it's come, but for any blockages that could be happening in our life, or even to know ourselves from our soul perspective. And normally it tells us things that we need to know in the moment.
Okay.
It won't, because if everyone had to really know everything about themselves and what's going to happen, there would be no growth, right? How will our soul grow?
Yeah.
It will just let us know things that we need to know in the moment for our growth.
Okay.
And it still lets you discover yourself. Like the whole purpose of it is for you to know yourself, to grow, to for guidance, for healing. It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
Like, the space that you get into, it's amazing.
Yeah. And you said you're having a group around this coming up?
Yes, so I have a group workshop on the 24th of March.
Okay.
And so the whole idea about the group workshop is we're going to be discussing a topic.
Great.
And the topics that we discuss are mostly related to what most of us go through in life. And then, so the topic for our next discussion is resistance.
Okay. Okay.
Like, we all have resistance.
Yes, I was going to say I have a lot of that. Okay.
Yes. And then we'll have some questions put forth, which will give you a deep dive into your own resistance. So everyone who's in the group, so it's going to be a very, very small group because it,
Mhm.
want to make sure that it serves everyone, and everyone will get a chance to to explore the records for resistance in their life. So
Okay.
I'll reach out to the records for you, and whatever questions you have regarding resistance in your life, you get guidance related to the topic of that day.
Okay. Wow, this sounds really interesting, and I should sign up for the workshop as we all should. If this right, I would say if this is resonating with you or you're curious, that's sort of like the place that I have been in with this, and Dr. Sonal knows that. So I'll leave the link in the show notes for your website and then also about this workshop, and the podcast episode will come out way ahead of that. So
Thank you, Michelle.
yeah, yeah. No, it's so interesting. And like, a part of doing this podcast, I have met so many interesting and amazing people doing wonderful things and things that I know nothing about. And that's the beauty of it.
It is like there's so much in the world, right? Like we
Yes.
cannot know everything,
No.
and but you learn so much with just meeting people, with just
Yes.
talking and getting to know people.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Yeah, there's just so many interesting things and for sure. I mean, I can think as you were talking, I was thinking about 5 questions that would be perfect. So we'll talk more. Okay, so Dr. Sanal, any final last words before we tie things up today?
So the only thing that I would like to say is, going back to the feeling in the heart, like when that's something that I use very often, like when things kind of, you're confused or don't feel right, like actually just going back to the heart and seeing, does it feel open towards it or actually closed? It'll tell you a lot of things about what you need in the moment. And, and just being kind with yourself at whatever phase of the journey that you are, and patting yourself on the back for whatever you are doing.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love all of that. And I know that will definitely resonate with our community of runners for sure. And I will just say to you too that, if you feel like you want to try running again on different terms, that it's available, you know?
Yes, yes. Like I said, I have been thinking about it, but I'm kind of just trying it out myself right now and seeing how it really
See,
feels. And
exactly. See if you enjoy it.
yes, see if I enjoy it. And like I said, like I'm not going to be running, but like in a way doing the walk thing, which is my way.
Oh, yes. Run walk is a very
Yes,
official,
yes.
yes, is a very
Yeah.
official modality. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.